Alrighty here. Hold on here. Okay, give me a second. All right, so I'm just gonna start. I think there's some folks in the room, um, and if anybody wants to uh, request for the mic to come up, Jenn, I'm gonna add you to the mic, so you're welcome. I know you're driving, Jenn, so just hop on whenever you can. But I just invited you to the mic. When you can hop in, just feel free, of course. So we're going to start out this way, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, the topic of the room is about the election results here in America. Just last night. It's not even has it been 12 hours? Maybe it's been about 12 hours since it happened. Giant Judge, I'm gonna add you up to speak. Okay, and so we're going to talk about it. Okay, I'm gonna wait for Giant Judge to get a clear here, and then okay. So all right, Giant Judge. So I'm gonna start out this way, and then I'm gonna get your thoughts first, Giant Judge. And in case if you need to run, you're welcome to. But those who are in the tetherball community, if you guys can kind of remind me somehow that every 30 minutes I will drop a task for points and stuff. Just go ahead and click an emoji. Let's just say uh, I don't know, 100% emoji. So whenever I see 100% emoji, let's start the clock like right now. Okay, so Northy, Captain Straw. So let's start the clock right now, and then give me 100% emoji 30 minutes from now, and then I will drop the first task. Okay, so yeah. So here's what I'm gonna start out with. So we're gonna stick to today's topic, and anybody who wants to come up, feel free. There's no right or wrong answers as long as we can keep things cordial, please, ladies and gentlemen. Currently in America, we are not even split 50-50. It's actually 40 to 60. So about 42% are anti the Trump establishment, which Trump won last night. So that leaves about 58% that are pro Trump. So obviously, more than half of the country, about 58%, are celebrating a Trump win. And then there are 42% of the country who are supposedly mourning, not necessarily for the loss of the election, but they're thinking much beyond that. Such as for me, fortunately, I don't have any daughters to worry about. Okay, but I do have friends who have daughters or even sons. Women's rights. We've already seen cases that there are deaths in Texas because of pregnancy complications where they cannot have a physician to give them an abortion if it's needed, right? So a lot of these things are going to pan out somehow. Okay, but obviously the country America is in turmoil for sure. Okay, giving the election last night, and so that's why we're here. That's why we're going to talk about it. That's why if anyone needs to share their frustration or their victory, either way, okay, you are welcome. Okay, as long as you are cordial, as long as you do not put anybody down, except with the exception of either Trump or Kamala, because they're both were the nominees. So if you're gonna take a ticket, a ticket of the president of the United States, you need to be able to accept criticism as well as praises. Especially in America now, the country is literally split, not even right down in half. It's 42 based upon electoral votes. Okay, it's 42% to 58%. So I personally congratulate the 58% who are pro-Trump. You deserve the parties, the celebration, whatever the case may be. And then I guess I will feel, I wouldn't say sorry, but concern, to those who are on the pro Kamala. Okay, if you are a woman, if you have daughters, because this thing, the next 4 years, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, everybody can forecast, speculate, guesstimate, but it seems like every single forecast that I've seen has been dead wrong. And we're going to go through that one by one. Okay, so that's why the space is named "How Did the Dems," which is Democrats, get it all wrong? Okay, so I'm going to start first with Giant Judge. First and foremost, I wanted to thank Giant Judge. He is one of our community lead members because he holds a space for us every Wednesday morning. But it was at my request this morning, if he can switch the space to me hosting it, because I had the assumption that we might get a lot of listeners in today. And so I didn't want, I didn't want any, what do you call it, a rug, right? Because as we all know, as soon as a space gets rug, even if we have like 500 or 400 people in the room, nobody's gonna come back. Okay, once we're rug, everybody would just go away. Okay, so I didn't want that to happen. So that's the reason why I asked. And of course, thank you, Giant Judge, for giving me the permission to do that. I greatly appreciate it. Now, back to you, Giant Judge. If you can start out, for me, so that if you need to leave midway of this space, you're welcome to. It was you, me, Jenn, and Omar, and I believe Northy are a few folks who were quite active in our WhatsApp private group in the TBALL community that we've been discussing about this particular topic. Okay, now, Giant Judge, I believe you're leaning more towards Kamala only because you defend women, you defend females, you defend the future women, you defend the daughters of future parents, or the current daughters right now, they're going to grow up, the rights that they're going to have. If you guys look under the comment section of this particular space, okay, you will see a bunch of, oh, okay, so Jenn, you didn't do that, so I will find it and I will put it in the jumbotron. One of the tweet that Jenn tweeted, okay, now it's on the jumbotron. So every time when I share something, you guys just look on the jumbotron. That this particular Caucasian male, his name is Nicholas Fuentes. Look at what he said. He said, "Your body, my choice, forever." So who do you think he's talking about? So if you are a female, that's you. If you are a father, a mother, and you have a daughter right now, doesn't matter how old she is. Again, let me repeat. Does not matter how old she is. Okay? If you still don't understand that, let me give you another word as a clue. And that name is Diddy. Okay? So it doesn't matter how old she is. This is going to be the new America. Okay? It's the new America. So if you are a woman, or if you're a parent, if you have daughters, okay, I guess you would have to figure out something to protect your daughter, because this is a new America. So I'm going to pause there for a second. And Giant Judge, could you kindly share your thoughts, please? Thank you. Giant Judge? Okay. So maybe he can't talk. Okay. Okay. So here's what I believe that's going to happen. Okay. Um, uh, well, okay. Well, let me go back. Okay. Here's what I believe that, that it should have happened, actually, with the Joe Biden administration. Okay. First and foremost, I believe that Joe Biden could have done better these past 4 years. Okay. I know the Joe Biden administration have done a lot. Okay. And of course, if you go on Twitter, you see a lot of Democrats tweeted out Joe Biden did this. I get that. But the part that I believe it was important to the American people, that I believe was one of the reasons that Kamala lost, has to do with everyday expenses. Okay, like a dozen of eggs, it's $10, or 2 dozens of eggs, $20. How can that be? Right? So from Gen Z to mothers to families, like I go to Costco all the time. Take my mom, okay, to go to Costco to buy groceries, and I would see in her basket, okay, just like less than 6 items, not even 10 items, and we would go out to the check stand, and it's over $100, over 100 for 6 items, at Costco. Okay, so the thing of that means each item nowadays, whatever it is that you want to buy, a package of chicken, eggs, or whatever the case may be, it's minimum is $10 per package. Okay, so why? Now people come to me again. I've only had 3 hours of sleep last night, and then I was woken up by a bunch of my friends on Wall Street because they were getting ready for the stock market to open up. They usually, we usually talk, and of course, some of my political friends too say, "Oh my God, did you see Kamala really lost? Is this true? Is this really true, Jenny?" I start picking up phone calls at 4 a.m. Okay, at 4 a.m. in the morning, that my friends were calling me. Okay, so we discussed this. As you guys know, I have a lot of friends on Wall Street because I was a former Wall Street investment bank. So a lot of my friends, okay, and I discuss why do these prices are so high, and that the Biden administration could not do a damn thing to bring it down. Okay? Now, I'm going to put two and two together for you guys. And I'm taking it from the investment bank side of the world, which is Wall Street. And even if you don't understand what I'm about to say, just use your common sense. Because common sense, you will know that what I'm about to say is correct and that it makes sense. And here's what I'm about to say. If you have a company that is publicly traded on Wall Street, think about this, okay? How does your stock go up? Your stock go up is by the earnings of that company that keep beating the previous quarter. And I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna pick all my friends in the TBALL community today. I'm gonna pick my friend Sean first. So let's see, Sean is the CEO of a grocery chain called Ralph's, right? And it's publicly traded, right? And so as you guys know, each publicly traded company, they would release earnings 4 times a year. So Sean's company named Ralph's, right? There's actually a grocery store called Ralph's in Southern California, right? So let's just say the first quarter, Sean's company came out with 25 cents per share, earnings per share, right? And then the second quarter, Sean's company went out 30 cents earnings per share. So you better bet your life on it that Sean's company called Ralph's Grocery, the stock's going to go up. Okay. And then the third quarter, which we just ended the third quarter, Sean's company called Ralph's Grocery earning per share went up to 50 cents. So for sure, we all know that Sean's company named Ralph's Grocery, the stock's going to keep on going up. So how does Sean's company called Ralph's Grocery earnings per share do that? Because Sean's company selling grocery and he keep jacking it up. One of the things that Kamala said when she was running was that she's going to go after corporation for price gouging. Remember? Price gouging. Okay, remember that, right? That didn't happen now. So back to the price of eggs, which I'm saying, why doesn't the Biden administration do that? Now, we all can say that, okay, great. Kamala promised she's going to do that. But then on the right, you guys keep in mind, the right is the Republican. The left is the Democrat, okay? On the right's going to say, well, fuck them. Why is Kamala saying it now? She's been with Biden for 4 fucking years. Why doesn't she do that? But then here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing, right? Maybe the Biden administration wanted to do that because it keeps the stock market up high so they can take the credit for it. Am I right or am I wrong? Could be speculation. But if you look at the stock market, okay, this year, I believe the S&P 500 went over 40%. I don't believe there's any other year that has that high. The stock market has gone that high. Okay? So in order for the stock market to go that high, meaning that every single stock, or majority of all of the stocks, their earnings per share, okay, had to be good. Okay? So maybe the Biden administration had to choose between, okay, what should we do? Should we keep the stock market high? Because that's my legacy. That's my legacy. Joe Biden. That's my legacy, right? Or should we do something crazy and push prices down? Okay, we can do it now, under my Biden administration, okay, the price gouging, bring eggs down, bring fruits down, vegetable down, or whatever it is. But then that's going to cause the stock market to go down. I don't know what happened to Sean, but Sean's company, Ralph's Grocery, it's going to come down because the earning per share is not going to beat the previous quarter. So therefore, if earnings per share drops, the stock market's going to drop, or the stock's going to drop. And if more stock's going to drop, the stock market's going to drop. You get my point, okay? So that's one point that I wanted to share, is that, if people are talking about, one of the things that Kamala could lose because of that, why doesn't she do anything? One of the things people are hurting is because every month they make money here in America. The bulk of their salary would go into food, which is grocery. Okay. Don't even talk about restaurant. Restaurant these days, like for example, a bowl of pho. If you guys know the Vietnamese community, there's a bowl of pho or noodles or whatever. It used to be like $6 or $7. Now, $20 a bowl of pho. The same exact bowl, $20. Okay. So let's go to another topic. Okay. So if any of you guys wanted to come up and speak, I know Jenn is driving. So as soon as she gets to where she's at, she's welcome to come up. Okay. So I'm going to put in the Jumbotron, this particular tweet that I tweeted out, July 18th. Okay. July 18th of this year. So let me put it in the Jumbotron right now. Okay, so it's there. Okay, so July 18th of this year, you guys saw my tweet right there. I tweeted, I said, just my bet, Biden is going to step down. I said, Biden steps down. And then Michelle Obama. I said, for the Democrats, it would be between Michelle Obama and Gavin Newsom. If you guys don't know who Gavin Newsom is, he's the governor of California. Okay, versus, and you see how I chose the Trump team correctly. Okay, Trump and Vance, which is exactly who they are now. Trump is the president, Vance is the vice president. Okay. So that tweet was on July 18th. When did Joe Biden step down? 3 days later. Well, he didn't step down. He said that he's not going to run for re-election. And that announcement was on July 21st. Okay, so I also gave you guys a tweet, which I'm going to put in the Jumbotron now. It's from Bloomberg, right there, July 21st, 3 days after my tweet. It was breaking news that President Joe Biden drops out of the presidential race. Okay, now I'm going to continue. At the time when I heard this scoop, okay, yes, we hear scoops when you're close to certain friends or community, like, politician friends, Wall Street friends, you hear scoops, okay? Scoops meaning that it's kind of like within, a very limited sources. It's not exactly insider information because eventually it's going to leak out because something like this, trust me, the media would already know too. They just need a time to write the story or whatever the case may be, okay? So until the story breaks, that's when it's actual news. But prior to the story breaks, there's already been talks. And if you know the right people, that's called a scoop or scoops, okay? So through my network, I've heard of scoops that Biden was going to step down. And I said, oh my God, right? So then I tweeted that. And then I said, well, if Biden steps down, then, I think the best person at that time, it wasn't just me. It was just a lot of folks behind the scenes. I'm not going to say, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Behind the scenes of the Democratic Party that we're talking about who's going to take place of Joe Biden. Okay. Now, a lot of folks going to say, well, if Joe Biden decides not to run, okay, then the Democrats should just open it up, okay, and let America choose their next candidate, okay. So which I agree, okay. Now this is the part that I will be honest that I don't know enough about it to share, okay. That if it's mandatory to do that or if it's not mandatory to do that, but all I know is that the Democrats they do have the power to choose their next candidate, which they chose Kamala, of course. Okay. So, so if any of you guys out there listening said that, if you guys are questioned in terms of that, well, that's a mistake that they should, if Biden steps down, then they should open up, a voting of some sort for America to select the Democratic presidential nominee. Right. But then the thing about it is that if that's what you're asking, then you also have to be fair to ask the Republican too as well. Did the Republican really have a fair, election to choose Trump, or was it because I've heard, that on the Trump side, that Trump was so demanding, and that Trump knows every single politician's dark secrets, right? So you guys say, what do you mean dark secrets, Jenny? Dark secrets kind of like, like Diddy's friend. I'm going to keep bringing up Diddy because he's locked up, right? So I'm sure Diddy had a lot of friends, and I'm not going to mention any names because that's speculation, right? They probably knew all along what Diddy has been doing. So it's called dark secrets. So even if they knew, they never reported Diddy, right? So then Trump probably knows a lot, if not everyone's on the Republican side, dark secrets, right? And so I guess you can say that when your hands are tied, even if you wanted to run against Trump, you can't. I mean, I think DeSantis tried or something. So, and even if you want to go against Trump, that you don't want Trump to be the nominee, you can't either because, Trump can just, be in front of a microphone, and he can just say anything, and there goes your political life, right? So then on the Republican side, Trump was the nominee. Now, is that fair or not? Questionable, according to the left, if you guys understand what I'm saying, right? And then now to the left, of course, they chose Kamala. Okay. Now hindsight is that of course Kamala lost. Okay. Hindsight is 2020 because then now people are talking. I mean, if Michelle Obama would have ran with Gavin Newsom, could she have won? Possibly. Of course, possibly. Highly possible. But at the time, after everybody was talking about, oh my God, Michelle should run. Who should? And if you guys remember around that time, Gavin Newsom was in the media a lot because they were testing the people. Okay. And so Michelle Obama doesn't need to test. I think she was kind of in the media too. But I think at the end, it was Michelle Obama and probably with President Obama decided that no, Michelle shouldn't do it. Why? Many reasons why. Because Obama alone right now, he has a beautiful legacy. Beautiful, right? The 8 years that Obama was president, there was no drama. There was nothing. Okay. So maybe he wanted to keep it like that. He doesn't want to take the risk to okay. Captain, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to do the first task. So I'm going to finish the Michelle Obama real quick. Okay, so he did not want to risk his legacy, because if Michelle Obama were to run, then as you guys all know, there's going to be pluses and minuses, right? So that's why I guess at the end the Democrats chose Kamala. So I'm going to pause there. There's a lot more topics to come, but I'm going to pause here to do the first task for the TBALL community. And this first task is very simple. Okay, first and foremost, TBALL, please put the TBALL Twitter account. Please put the rules under this particular Twitter space, because we have rules now. Okay, there are 10 things you got to do. So it's very easy. Most of you guys in the community already have this anyway. Okay, but the task is you place under the comment section, the bubble of this particular space, one thing, good or bad, about the election. It's either Trump, Kamala, I wish Kamala could win, Trump shouldn't win, it's going to be bad for the economy, it's going to be good for the economy, whatever you guys want to say, okay? And make sure to follow the rules, okay, that the TBALL account is going to drop under this space right now. So for 200 points, you see, very simple, 200 points. So that's our first task, okay? So you guys remind me again the next 30 minutes, and then I will drop the next task. So then let's continue on, okay? So as you guys can see that I believe that if Michelle Obama were to have ran, and got with Gavin Newsom, okay, it might have been different, or it might even be closer, or they could have even won, okay? Now, why do I believe that Kamala and Tim Walz was not the right? Well, now hindsight is 2020, so of course we're going to talk about 2020, because of course I was already rooting for Kamala, so I can't say anything, right? But looking back now, I say, why do I believe that Kamala and Tim Walz may have been the wrong team for this particular election? Because number one, as I've shared earlier, Kamala has been with Biden for 4 years. Although I did say that Kamala was a VP and Biden is a CEO, okay? But Kamala could have been more aggressive, okay? So even through her campaigns, I know she's only campaigned for 100 days. If she would have said something like, well, if she would have heard someone say, and I'm sure that she did, okay, that someone said, well, you've been running the country for 4 years. What the heck have you been doing? Okay, then she would say, okay, here's what, Joe did or I did. I know by doing that, she might kind of throw Joe under the bus. So she might not want to do that. But then you see, it may have cost her election. Okay, because people are tired of it. Even though she's a VP, Joe Biden is the president. But they're like, skin and bones. They're one of the same. So that's why if Michelle Obama were to have come in to replace Joe Biden, the right would not have used that to go against her or the Democrats. Okay, so obviously throughout the 100 days, I've heard that all the time in all of the spaces that I've been in that talks about Kamala and the election. I at least answer once. What have she been doing for 4 years? I've answered that at least once. So you see, the right utilizes that weakness, and they kept beating on it. And you know what? They're not wrong. They're wrong, but they're not wrong. Okay, so that's why I thought that Michelle Obama would have been better, because she's not connected to the Biden administration. She's connected to her husband administration, which that administration was perfecto. Nothing is 100% perfect, but it is as close to perfection as it could be. Okay, now, why Gavin Newsom versus Tim Walz? And I will share with you guys why. Okay, because Tim Walz, when Kamala announced Tim Walz, you guys know what he reminded me of? He reminded me of Tim Kaine. You guys know who Tim Kaine is? Tim Kaine was Hillary Clinton's VP choice in 2016. Now, I now find it super strange too, because I'm sure all of you guys watch Saturday Night Live just this past Saturday, correct? When Kamala Harris was on there. Do you know who else they appear on Saturday Night Live? It was Tim Kaine. Go watch it again. Go to YouTube and watch that Saturday Night Live again. So Kamala Harris appeared about 3 minutes. It was a great skit. And then there was a skit that Tim Kaine also appeared. So when I was watching that Saturday Night Live, I was really confused. I said, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? Okay, because at the end of the day, if you look at both Tim Kaine and Tim Walz, to me, they're like twins. I mean, I could kind of similar shapes and size. They're both Caucasian. Kind of well known, but not too well known. Like, I never knew anything about Tim Walz until Kamala chose him, and then I start doing research and say, oh, who is Tim Walz? Okay, so then I had even a worse deja vu, after Tim Walz was announced. The deja vu is I said, oh my God, this looks like Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine all over again. The only difference is Hillary Clinton is a white woman and Kamala Harris is Black Asian. Okay, so that was when I start having a lot of whatchamacallit on, what do you call it? Anxiety, sleepless nights, and I said, oh, this doesn't look good. But I still support them, right? So there is a tweet somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. And I can't confirm this though, because these days we just cannot confirm online, right? People are tweeting that when Joe Biden found out, okay, that Kamala Harris chose Tim Kaine, he regretted it that he stepped down for Kamala to take his place. Okay, Google that. I mean, search that on Twitter. I've read people said that. Now, is it true or not? Okay. So I found a tweet. So let me pin it in the Jumbotron right now. So give me a second. Okay. I found that tweet that I just said. Okay, hold on a second. And then let me read this tweet for you guys. Okay. So this tweet says, okay, so it's in the it's on the Jumbotron now. Okay. And it's from Patrick Webb. And it's breaking news. This was on August the 6th. There were 262,000 views. And it says breaking. Biden is reportedly having regrets about succumbing to internal pressure and dropping out of the presidential race following Kamala Harris's decision to pick Tim Walz as her VP. You see? So when I read that, even I was a little bit confused. You know why I was confused? I was confused because I said, well, wait a minute. Nobody talked to Joe Biden before they make that announcement that, oh, Joe, Kamala's going to choose Tim Walz for her VP. I'm not going to buy that because the Democrats are very close niche. They're very close. Okay. I don't know about the Republicans, but I know the Democrats, at least like the top notch of them. I mean, there's Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama, Michelle Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala, Pelosi, all of those names that I mentioned to you, at least those names, they are all very close. I mean, they probably like have a telephone party, okay? Probably like nightly or whatever the case may be, okay? So, so for me to read that tweet and see it that that Joe Biden did not know about that, I wasn't too sure about that, so it conflict with what I share. So, so those are a few things that I have gathered through this particular election, okay? That hindsight is 2020, okay? And that I thought, of these things that could have made a difference. Possibly anything can happen, but it's too late now. Okay. So, but what I'm going to go through next is I'm going to read off a bunch of tweets from Jenn. I know Jenn is driving. Okay. So, when she gets to her destination, she's listening right now, but when she gets to her destination, she will hop on, when she can. So one of Jenn's tweet, and I'm going to put it in the Jumbotron. She quoted, this very democratic, American. Her name is Joe. I follow her too. Okay. So Joe tweeted, I'm going to add it to the Jumbotron. It says, when you bitches, I guess she's talking about white women, white Republican women. Okay. Because both election, the Hillary campaign and the Kamala campaign, they both lost because white women voted against them. White women. Okay. You would think that women support women, right? Well, twice in a row, that's not the case. I remember after Hillary lost, there were talks about, well, because maybe white women don't like white women, right? But that's not the case anymore. Kamala is certainly not white. Okay. So I know Jenn and a lot of folks, okay, on the left, I know both Jenn and I are registered independents. I wanted to clarify that. Both Jenn and I are registered independents. But lots of people voted for Kamala, did say that America is not ready for a woman president. That is partially true. I don't disagree with that. Because why? There are so many uphill hurdles for women. Okay, number one, the white women. If white women did not vote for another white woman, which was in 2016, okay, but then when I say that, people are going to say, no, Jenny, they didn't vote for Hillary at the time because Hillary had a rap sheet, okay, which is true. Hillary and Bill Clinton, they have been in politics for like forever. I think since Hillary was in college, right? So when you're in something like that, like for the longest time, okay, you will have a rap sheet, especially in politics. I mean, look at crypto, right? Look at crypto. I mean, there's Tether, there's Brian Armstrong. There's lots of people who like them. Lots of people don't like them, right? There are pros and cons on everything. Like me, people like me, people don't like me. You just can't have the entire world like you, okay? Especially if you're high power, you're out there in the public world, you ought to make a mistake. And when you make a mistake, people are going to remember because it's the internet, right? So, so speaking of crypto, okay, so I'm going to twist things a little bit here, okay? So obviously, majority of the crypto space voted or supported Donald Trump. So they're celebrating right now. They are, of course, saying that's it. Bitcoin's going to go to the moon. And so far, it seems like it because Bitcoin broke an all-time high. Finally, I've been talking about this. So Bitcoin finally broke an all-time high. But I'm going to give you a caution, ladies and gentlemen, because this had happened before. And that caution is go back to when Joe Biden won the election. And when he nominated Gary Gensler for the SEC chair, everyone in the cryptoverse, especially crypto Twitter, jumped for joy. They said, that's it. We got our man. If Gary Gensler comes in, okay, crypto is going to fly to the moon. I remember crypto, everybody was, because when an SEC chair, you guys have to understand how this works. When someone is nominated, like Joe Biden nominated Gary Gensler, you got to have a public vote of some sort, right? So Gary Gensler went out and he's rallying the crypto army, crypto Twitter and stuff like that, and so we all came in and we supported him and say, yes, what? If you guys are new to the crypto space, I know there's a lot of you guys are new to crypto space. You guys going to say, well, why did they support him, Jenny? Because he's a bad guy. He's bad for crypto. He's bad now, but back then he wasn't bad because back then he came out from being a professor at MIT. And as a professor or as a speaker, he was teaching at MIT, okay? He was very pro-crypto. He was pro-Ethereum. He was pro-Bitcoin. He even said that both Bitcoin and Ethereum were not securities. You guys can Google this. So that's why when Joe Biden nominated Gary Gensler, the entire crypto space are as happy as you guys see it today with Donald Trump. And then it happened. What happened? Gary Gensler was not the Gary Gensler that supported crypto as the crypto space wanted him to be. So what does that mean? That means words are cheap. Wait for the fucking action. Okay? Especially Trump. Okay? Trump is well known to be a liar. He say things and he just does not follow through. Okay, Jen's coming up, so let me finish this and then I'll leave the mic to Jenn. So the thing about it is words are cheap. You guys know that. Okay? Words are very cheap. Let him prove it. And here's what I believe is going to happen. Trump knows that this is his final 4 years. The word final can equate to two things. Number one, he's nearly 80 years old. So unless you guys all think that Donald Trump's going to live to 100 and his mind is going to work when he's 80 and then 84 the same way as all of us in here in our 30s, 40s, 50s, okay, then that's your prerogative. But in my opinion, when an 80-year-old man heading towards 84, which would be my grandfather, I don't even want him to drive. Nevertheless, running the country. Okay? That's the first final. Okay? The second final is that these final 4 years, he's all going to be about revenge and he's all going to be about money. So what does that mean? Because that's Trump's entire life. So what that means is, for example, I'm going to give an example. Let's just say the crypto space, and I'm going to continue using Tether or Coinbase per se, right? So why do I use Tether or Coinbase? Because I believe that they have a rap sheet. Remember, everybody has a rap sheet, okay? So let's just say Tether and Coinbase have a rap sheet. And now they say, well, see, Mr. Trump, we helped you, just like Elon Musk. Now America has proven to the world that America can be bought. Anything can be bought. So what does that tell us in the world? That money is power. Money is definitely power. Because if you have enough money, like Elon Musk, he put out $100 million, he can practically run the country now. Trump probably can go to, play golf every day. And Trump, Peter Thiel, and JD Vance can run the country. Just like back when George W. Bush, he had a VP, I forgot his name. I'm going to remember it, but he's older, very much into oil. I'm going to remember, but that VP happened to endorse Kamala Harris though. Okay. So when Jenn speaks, I'm going to go search his name. But if you guys want to search, it was George W. Bush's vice president. Okay. So at that time, everybody was saying that George W. Bush wasn't running the country, being the president. It was his VP that was running the president because his VP had that much more power. So now with the second Trump term, he's going to sit back, relax, because he's going to sign things. When he's going to sign things, the only thing he's probably going to say is, how much is this? How much are they paying me with this? Like, let's just say if it's Tether or Coinbase, right? I'm all speculating, people, okay? I have the right to speak because this is the First Amendment, right? And the reason why I have the right to speak about this, because it has shown that Elon is very heavily invested. Peter Thiel, the crypto space, they all heavily invested, and so they won. So when you do that, that means that if you have enough money, you can buy America to gear towards the way that you want it to be, right? So, so then, okay, so then let me conclude, okay? So then here's what I believe Trump is going to happen in his final 4 years, okay? That if his health were to be in concern, they still going to let him be president because he's not going to resign, unless if he passes away due to whatever complication, because he is 80 years old, people. Okay. I'm not wishing him death or anything. I'm just speaking as if like another 80 years old, like our grandfather, they could die anytime. Okay. So, so if he passes away then of course we all know JD Vance is going to be the president. Okay. But if he doesn't pass, then he's not going to run the country. Okay. It's going to be JD Vance, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel. Ivanka just came back. Ivanka is his daughter, and her husband, which is Jared Kushner. Now, if you guys remember, through the entire presidential rallies of Donald Trump, we have never seen Ivanka Trump or Jared Kushner, but they both came out last night to congratulate their father. So what that means is, they let their dad do the dirty work, and if their dad loses, they say, hey, I wasn't involved. Remember, you guys don't see me. But if they dad won, then they will come out, which exactly they did last night. Okay, so that's it. So for Trump to sign anything, so they're gonna leave Trump signing stuff. So whenever they sign stuff, let's just say if Coinbase or Tether or the crypto space say, hey, can you pass this for us? And then he's going to say, how much is this? How much, meaning that how much are they pumping him? Is it 100 million? Is it 200 million? So America and capitalism, to me, is going to be like China or Vietnam. It's all about corruption. It's all about how much are you going to pay me to pass this? Okay, because that's Trump all his life. Okay, so I am going to pause there. And the person who doesn't have the PFP with the name in Chinese, okay, I'm not going to bring you up yet, okay, only because you don't have a PFP. And my intuition is telling me that you're not, okay, so he or she came down, that person is not going to be cordial. So, but anyway, Jenn, I'm going to let you go first, and then Warrior, and then Giant. So go ahead, Jenn, if you have anything to share.
Thank you, Jenny. There's 812 people in here right now, but I just walked in the door and I'm in a little bit of chaos. So if Warrior or Giant Judge are ready to speak first, I have been listening, but I don't want to get interrupted in 2 minutes. So I just need about 5 more minutes before I can speak.
Sure. No problem. Warrior, do you have anything, Warrior, to say? Or I could just keep on going. I got a lot of things to say. If you guys, it seems like a lot of people like to listen, so I still have a lot of things to say. So Warrior, do you have anything to add?
No, not really. I'm just listening to you people. Actually, I love what you are sharing. Thanks,
Okay.
GM, to all the speakers and the listeners.
Gotcha. Okay. So all right. So as we're waiting for Jenn, I guess I'm gonna continue because again, I'm just analyzing everything, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So so to read what Jenn was saying, again, I'm just reading tweets that Jenn added, and I'm gonna add this particular tweet. It's from Joe, and it says, when you bitches are paying $18 for eggs and being paid pennies working in the fields because there's no one else to do it, and your kids work factory jobs because there is no school to attend and shit like leprosy comes back, I hope you remember how hard you own the libs. Okay, so this is Joe, and again, I follow her. She's very, very vocal when it comes to the Democrat, and of course that tweet, she was referring to the white women who voted against Kamala Harris. Okay, and then Jenn gave me a lot of tweets. There's another tweet I'm gonna put on the jumbotron right now, and that tweet says, this is from Tara Duplin. I also follow her too. This particular tweet has over 526,000 views, and she also follows me. And this is what she said. Remember when Trump said they already had the votes? Remember when Trump said no one would ever have to vote again? Remember when Trump said he and Mike Johnson, if you guys don't know who Mike Johnson is the current Speaker of the House for the Republican. Okay, so remember when Trump said he and Mike Johnson had a little secret? And then she said, remember how fast Elon and Trump became friends? And then she concluded that I do. So let me dissect this particular tweet for a second. So it doesn't matter what she says. Well, it matters, but it doesn't matter. What she says is true or not true. Because my mother would always said that, honey, it's cooked rice. You guys know what cooked rice mean, right? I'm sure all of us in here, we've eaten rice, right? So if you've eaten rice, you must have cooked the raw rice before it became rice for you to eat it, right? So when you take the raw rice, the rice from the field, and you put it in the pot, you add water so that you cook the rice. Can you reverse that chemistry? Can you reverse that? Cook rice into, you can't. So my point is, even though what Tara Duplin said is true, that some
Mistake.
Okay, so if you're gonna come up and make noise, I'm gonna remove you as speaker, and you're not gonna come up as speaker again. Okay, so if you want to speak, all you gotta do is just raise your hand, and then that's it. Okay, I will stop and I'll let you speak. Okay, so but my point is, even if Tara Duplin is 100% correct, which she is, because Trump did say all that, what are we gonna do about it? Tell me. I mean, I'm pro Kamala. I mean, can I say what the fuck are we gonna do about it? No, we can't. Okay, yes, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight. But the election from last night is done and over. Because if we're gonna do what Trump did, uh, you know, with the 2020 election, then we're no better. We're no better. So I'm not gonna retweet all these things. I mean, maybe today, because today we're still affected. We're still hurt. The pain is there. Okay, just like I retweeted a Vanity Fair cover. Vanity Fair did a cover this morning. They congratulated Trump and they relisted all of the felony counts that Trump did. I understand. There's hurt, there's pain. Okay, but we just need to move on from this thing and just sit back and wait to see what is Trump and his team are gonna do. Because keep in mind, the Trump side, they did not like it when Biden won 4 years ago. That's why there was January 6th. That's why they were hurt. That's why they gathered together. That's why they back Trump. That's why they're so pissed. And that's why they say it doesn't matter if I'm gonna bet my daughters or my wives away, which is exactly what they did. The lifetime of my daughters, my future granddaughters, my wives away. I'm gonna vote to bring Trump back. Okay, and that's exactly what they did. Okay. So are we gonna do that? Now, I'm sure some Democrats are gonna do that because we need to hurdle and take back 4 years from now. One thing I do love is America has this 4-year situation. Now, I've heard, okay, that that the Trump administration with Elon Musk, I mean, this current one that Trump's going to be sworn in on January 20th, that they're going to do something, okay, that Trump's going to be president like forever, like Putin or like China, Jinping, Xi, whatever the case may be. Now, I have not studied that part. Okay, it's not my field. So you guys know I'm honest. Okay, this is not my field. I'm not a politician. Okay, so am I gonna go study about this now? Oh, you better bet your life on it. Okay, that I'm gonna say, is this possible? Okay, so is this possible or is not possible? Okay, so to me right now, if I have to take a guess, I don't think it's possible. Okay, so but if Trump has all 3 branches and the Supreme Court, anything could be possible, I guess. So if you guys are not in the United States, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about in terms of the 3 branches in America, these are the 3 branches. The first branch is the president, which Trump owns. He has now, right? The second branch is the Senate, right? And the third branch is the House. The Senate and the House combined is called Congress, right? And then the third branch, or is it the fourth branch, Jenna, I'm confused, is the Supreme Court. Now, the Supreme Court, you guys all know, okay, that there are currently 9 Supreme Court justices. Okay, yes, I saw the 100, so let me finish this and I'll do the next task. Okay, so 9. But in Trump's last term, he already brought in 3 judges out of the 9. But keep in mind, of the 9, only 3 are Democrats now. 3 are Democrats, 3 Trump brought in, and the other 3 were brought in by other Republicans. So that's why the Supreme Court justices now, okay, is already 2/3 controlled by Trump. Whatever he wants, he's a god. He could do it. That's why they stripped Roe versus Wade, which is the law that women fought to protect women for 50 years, and it's been stripped. Okay, so now the 3 Supreme Court justices that Trump brought in his last term, they're young, so they're going to be there. The 3 Democratic judges are going to be there, so that's 6, right? But the 3 that are Republican judges that were brought in by other presidents, okay, 2 out of those 3 are very old. So most likely, the Republicans will ask them to step down, and then the Republican is probably going to give them, like how in crypto, we say, oh, I'm going to give you a bag. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a bag, right? So they're going to give them a bag. You guys know when I say that, right? It's all about money now, right? Oh, we're going to give you a bag. Just step down. So when they step down, Trump's going to put in 2 more judges, and they're going to be young as in their 50s, their 60s. And if you guys know the U.S. law, okay, Supreme Court justices, when they are nominated and accepted, the only time when they will leave that position is A, they resign, or B, they die. No one can fire them. It's the most powerful, one of the most powerful position in America. Okay, the Supreme Court justices, once when they are affirmed, they are there forever. So that's why when you guys go around on Twitter and saying, "Oh my God, Trump just nominated 2 Supreme Court justices and they're only 50 years old," that's the reason why. Because they're betting on it. Like by the time that judge dies, which is in the 8 or 9, that's 40 or 50 years worth of ruling, ruling, ruling. Okay, so then let's calculate again. We have 9 Supreme Court justices. 3 are Democrats, 3 from Trump in his first term. That leaves 3. Of those 3 Republicans, 2 are very old. So it is speculated that the Trump administration will ask them to step down and they will have a huge retirement bag. Trump will replace those 2. So that means it will be historic. Historic. Never before in the history of America does one president nominated 5 Supreme Court justices out of 9. You guys get my point. That is the reason why, if you are pro-Trump, we're happy for you. We're happy for you. Okay? But you have to understand too that there are 42% of Americans are heartbroken beyond just this election, because an election can only last 4 years. Okay? But this election was so crucial of the areas that I had just shared. And this could last generations through generations. And I believe one of my tweets this morning, I used the word centuries. As you guys know, 1 century is 100 years. So if you are 45 years old now, you're going to have children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Add at least another 100 years to that, which means that you would have been dead, because there's no way you're going to be 145 years old. So that means it's going to affect you, your daughter. Well, if you have a wife, it's going to affect your wife immediately, your daughter, your granddaughters, and potentially your great-grandchildren. You see? So you see the point. So that's the reason why I am asking with one of my tweets this morning, and I will put it in the Jumbotron, okay? We congratulate you that you've won, okay? Do you see riots in the street? Do you see a January 6th like they did on, in 2020? No. The Democrats are supposedly highly educated people, so they're not going to do that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be invited to groups that is going to discuss what the fuck are we going to do now, okay? I'm pretty sure I'm going to get invited to these groups, okay? So there will be plans. There will be plans. There will be fight backs. Jenn, if you can let me know when you're ready to speak, did they win the House or did the Democrats get to keep the House? Okay.
Yeah, I have to check again, but Kamala didn't say anything yet either.
6 o'clock today, Jenn. She already announced. 6 o'clock p.m. today. She is going to concede. So that is the word. Okay. So, and again, Jenn, just let me know when you want to jump in. So I just put on the Jumbotron, right? A tweet that I tweeted out this morning that, congratulations to the pro-Trump, who you support Trump, your candidate won, okay? But just be kind, because we're all Americans here. We're not from third world country, okay? Yes, a lot of the Democrats are comparing Trump to Hitler. I, to a certain extent, agree to that as well, okay? But we're not a third world country, okay? We're not, okay? So at least I believe that we're not, okay? So I believe that we can still love each other as Americans somehow, even though we don't see politics, the same way, okay? But the last thing that I would want to see is America to be ripped apart, right? So my thing is that I'm going to slowly wait and see, what are they going to do with America for the next 4 years? And I do hope only 4 years, okay? If something strange happened, and if somehow America turns into like a Russia or a China, meaning that the president no longer has a term limit and that the president becomes like a king of some sort, oh my God. But at least Americans now have a choice. We can move to Europe, right? You can move to Europe, to Germany, to France. I mean, all of these European countries, they were pro Kamala. Okay. So, personally, I was not born here. I was born in Vietnam. I left Vietnam when I was very young. So if I need to move to another country again, I will. Okay, I will. So, Jenn just, added another tweet. And this one I'm going to put it on the Jumbotron, and I'm going to read it for you guys. Before I
Chetty, I was going to say task.
Yes, sorry about that. So another task, ladies and gentlemen, once again, add in the task, one thing that you heard I said from within the last 30 minutes. Okay, so this space is recorded. So if you were listening, type down in the bubble, the comment, one thing that, I mean, you could just say whatever I just said 5 minutes ago. Okay, one thing that you heard I said within the last 30 minutes, and that too is 200 points. Okay, all right, Jen. So did you want to speak now or should I continue?
I can speak. I guess there's a lot. I don't even know where to start, honestly.
We'll start with the
I'm
pinned
still
tweet.
processing it. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I know you spoke to me personally, and I'm gonna keep those things that you share with me personally personal. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, let's start with this one, right? Because we have a lot of guys and girls in here. So I grew up Catholic, and now Jen, you're Catholic, so I apologize if I say anything that might be offensive, but I grew up like serious Catholic. I did all the things, right? I did all the things and more. I even did like the retreats and everything. And I was very clearly told, I also went to Catholic high school, that birth control is considered abortion. You can look at any Catholic like person who follows all the tenets of the faith on Twitter. Even there's plenty of tweets out there that say that. So it's just not coming from me. This is an open thing. That's because birth control works in several ways. But one of the things that it does, if the egg is implanted, it actually makes the lining of the uterus thinner, so the egg wouldn't implant. So it never gets to implant onto the uterus. So that's the part that Catholics are caught up on. Okay, so like day zero. The reason I bring this up is because in Plant Project 2025, they have very clearly stated that they're going to go after birth control. So all you men out there, are you guys ready to get vasectomies? Because otherwise I don't think any of you are ever going to get laid again. That's all I have. Like seriously though, I don't think, I've been talking to some of my guy friends, I don't think they realize that this is going to affect them so hard, right? But if like me as a 40-year-old was to get pregnant, and then if I had high risk pregnancy, which I would because I'd be over the age of 35, I would be more likely to have complications. And if I had such complications and then I couldn't get treatment for a uncompleted miscarriage, I've had miscarriages, by the way, before. I've never needed any treatment for them because they were always before 10 weeks. But the one at 10 weeks was a little dicey. But sometimes the body can't take care of the whole process itself. And at that point, they do a D&C, which under the medical law is actually called an abortion. So it's a medical abortion. It's not a electory one. It's not a voluntary one. It's because at that point, the baby's already died, but the body can't expel everything. Okay, so for me, if I got pregnant, that would be very bad because it would be very high risk, right? And so this woman who's an OBGYN is saying, even before the election went through, this was a couple days before, that it's dangerous for women to get pregnant. And that's even with the birth control. So now let's get rid of the birth control thing, right? People think, oh, we'll just use condoms. Okay, well, they're about 78% effective against getting pregnant. Now, seriously, use them for STDs, super, super effective for that, but not so much for getting pregnant. So if you guys want to take that 78% risk, I can tell you a lot of women aren't though. And that's why Nick Fuentes' tweet is terrifying because he's saying, we don't care if you don't have birth control. We don't care if you don't have access to abortions. We're going to rape you, right? That's what he's saying. But then when your sisters, your mothers, aunts start dying because they can't, like their bodies literally can't take this anymore, I think it's going to hit people hard. I wish I could see we weren't get to this point, but we've already gone so far down the hill. There are so many women who have died from this miscarriage stuff. There's one guy on Twitter who I think was really great about it because I'm pretty sure he was Republican, but he just went right to Twitter when all was happening to his wife, they have a child. They have a 2-year-old already. And she almost died. And she was going back and forth to the hospital. Luckily, she lived. But there's multiple times during the process. It was like a 3-week process where he didn't know if she was going to live. And they're still mourning their baby because they wanted that baby. That's the saddest part. A lot of these women want these children. It's not that they're like, that's, like, people don't realize what gets caught up in this law. And before the law went through, I was saying this. A lot of people were saying it's like, no, that's not the same thing. Well, yes, to you and me, people on the street, that's not the same thing. But as far as the legal law goes, and as far as hospital is, and that's where all this is going on. But people even today, yesterday, a couple days ago, still didn't realize that could happen. Still didn't realize that the woman had their body actually miscarried with no intervention. They didn't want to get rid of the pregnancy. They fully want the pregnancy, but their body just couldn't have it for whatever reason, that if they then need hospital care, they can't get it. So the downstream effect is guys are going to have to get vasectomies. I don't know how, like, this is affecting all of us, okay? It's going to be very real for you guys, like, for real. You're going to be going to the doctors a lot because, like, I don't know how else to, like, put this in blatant terms, but I think overall with a lot of this stuff, people aren't thinking at all of the downstream effects. Are you talking before about, like, immediate cost? Okay, well, 20% tariffs for all goods coming from outside the United States, 60% on goods from China. I don't have an Amazon Prime account, but if you guys do, I feel really bad for you because you're going to have to learn how to actually figure out where stuff's coming from because 99% of that stuff's coming from China. So it's about to get real. And I'm in a position where I can protect myself from a lot of these after effects. And I'm a little bit older. I have 2 sons, and I hate to say it, but I feel really grateful about that. And that makes me feel sort of awful for even having that thought. But like Jenny said, she doesn't have children, but it's affecting everybody around us. I really don't think people are fully grasping it all. And that's what I think is really sad because it's going to happen super fast. I think there's a video, Trump's press secretary already released a video. So they're getting started on day one with stuff. He's going to move really fast. And he doesn't care about the checks and balances. I've also heard people saying, like, because this was back when he was in power last time, that there is technically no law about how many Supreme Court justices there could be. So he doesn't even need to ask 2 people to leave. He could put like 20 in there if he wants. There technically is no law against that. So this is going to get crazy because last time he had a cabinet that was doing the checks and balances. They're gone. Every single one of them, all the military generals, all came out and spoke out against him, how dangerous he was. And all of them are gone now. And it's going to rip fast. I don't know what else to say. I've been shaking all day, but I'm going to put the mic down for a second.
Yeah, certainly. I hear you, Jen. And you know what? I was talking to, again, a lot of my political friends and Wall Street friends as early as 4 o'clock this morning. And some of the things that we did talk about was that, you know, this very topic that you just shared. And you know what my friends were talking about, Jen? They were saying that, well, then in the future, what's going to happen is there's going to be more couples that will choose to pay extra to choose the sex for their child. So they're going to choose more boys than girls. Because if they love their, you know, if this is the law, then they say, well, fuck it. You know, then if I have a boy, at least if my boy is bad, he's going to go out rape a girl. He's never going to be in trouble. But if I have a girl and she's being raped and she could die, or she could be in prison if she tried to get an abortion, you know. So then even some of my friends and I were talking about how, you know, the middle class and the wealthier can probably do that because choosing the sex of the baby is possible. I think you guys know that, right? It's called IVF, and in America,
They're going for that too.
they're going for that too. That you can't do that.
Vance said that. Yeah, no, I have friends who have eggs that are a lot of women at my generation where, you know, did the career thing and then want to have kids. A lot of them have frozen eggs and they want to get rid of the frozen eggs because they think that once they're implanted with the sperm, then that is a life. This is very similar to the Catholic idea of the no birth control. So no, there's people going after that too. There's already laws in several states that are moving through about getting rid of IVF. So the choices I don't think how people realize. And again, be like, oh, this is your top. Nobody thought the miscarriage thing would actually happen. Nobody thought people with ectopic pregnancies would actually be forced to carry them, and they have. Right. So like we can't just pretend anymore that this isn't happening because it's happening and has been happening all around us. So I think that's where, you know, I think people will fly. Honestly, you're not going to be able to do it in the United States. People are going to fly to other countries. Right. So in Virginia right now, we get 58% of the people who come to Virginia for abortions are from Georgia and Florida. Right. But if it's a national ban, it's going to be kind of people are like, oh, we'll state. Yeah, okay. Well, just look at the whole marijuana thing, right? Like even when states first started doing that, there was still the national thing, right? And you really think that if they want something bad enough and people have enough bags, like you said, enough money to pass around, that they won't go back to national? They'll say something like, oh, you know, this is ruining the fabric of our country. This is tearing people apart. We all need to be on the same page. Whatever BS, they always switch it. That's the thing with the Republicans. The problem with the Democrats is they always play by the rules. And then they feel so sad and like upset when the Republicans don't. And then it happens again and again and again. And I wish we would grow some balls, honestly. Like Bill Maher is great with this stuff. He's been yelling, screaming for years about like, you know, like the Democrats have to start playing by the same playbook. He's also been one who said from the beginning, way before, like when Trump first came into office, that he was never going to leave. You know, and he did sort of, but barely, right? And I don't know if anybody, because there was so much news coming out about like 6 weeks ago or so, read some of the tapes about the burner phone that Trump had and what he was saying during the insurrection on January 16th or 6th rather. But he was fully on board with the whole thing and he was pushing it the whole time. And you can look at the transcripts from the burner phone. So that all came out. But the problem with the news cycle now is there's so much chaos that like huge things that like 10, 20 years ago would be news for months just get buried by the next thing. And that's one thing I think we could all agree on. One thing that we would probably not like about Trump, even people who voted for Trump, was that it was like the news was always super anxious. Like every day there was like a new like emergency, right? And part of it was because they would create emergencies to cover up the things they didn't want people to see. But everybody was like sort of on edge all the time. And if you've been driving around anywhere, I feel it on the roads. Several people in the last 48 hours have literally gone into the shoulders and like driven around people. Like people are driving like they just don't care about their lives anymore. But that like constant cycle of anxiety, buckle up guys, because at least 4 years of the news cycle being like completely insane where you're like, am I dreaming? There's no way this stuff is happening. It's not going to stop. So at least tell everybody before you go to bed that you love them. Because I'm also very, very concerned about a Russia like war extension to World War III. North Korea has been on the boots, like has boots on the ground, has been giving them weapons. This just started happening a couple weeks ago. I feel like nobody's paying attention to that. And now we're going to tip it over the edge and it's going to just, you know, if we really think Russia's just going to stop at Poland, then I don't know what to tell you, but like it's game on then, right? And now we have nuclear war. So I have iodine in my closet. I've had it for years. It's just a good idea to always have those things. Some people have been asking me like, well, what are you going to do if shit hits the fan? The same thing I was always going to do. I've always had water in my house, food in my house, you know, like basic things, wound care, actually wound packing stuff. I have sutures, all the basic stuff that you just want just in case there's an emergency anyway. I don't care what the emergency is. It could be a flood, it could be a hurricane, it could be World War III. Everybody should have some things in their house, right? And the supply chain probably get rocked a little bit once the tariffs go into place. So definitely at least have food and water in your house, right? Those are like the basic things. And just try to like do things to calm down. I don't know what to tell you, but like meditate. You know, Amy in here is also a meditator. Like our blood pressure, we want to keep our blood pressure down, right? So we could be here to support each other. I really hope somebody comes from left field and like does, you know, like the right thing. We have some Republicans come up and like, you know, kind of like talk sense into this. Maybe Trump, as he gets older, will actually kind of like calm down. He'll see like the light. I doubt that, but like, I think if we give up hope altogether, it's not going to do anything. I honestly don't have any other ideas right now. I just don't think people are really realizing, you know, what's going to happen because they've kind of been ignoring it because it's just too much for any one person to take in. We've just had too many extreme situations. There's multiple wars going on right now in the world, and it's a lot for people. And it's much easier just to watch TV or zone out. And you know, I wish we could all just have like a big drum ceremony or something, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. So I would love if anybody in the audience has any suggestions for getting to sleep tonight that doesn't include alcohol. I know you talked about not drinking, and I
Yeah.
really don't drink. I drink like 3 times a year, maybe. So, but yeah.
But if this is, any consolation to help you, Jenn, and of anybody, you know my heart the most, right? So take it from me, and I'm speaking out loud. Okay, so I want you to sleep well tonight, cuddle with your 2 boys. I know you're dating someone. Here's where I'm coming from. Okay, is that at the end of the day, I grew up from a very, not grew up, I was born in a very communist country, which is Vietnam. Okay. I was, I guess you can call it the ending of a war baby. So I was born, I guess my parent had sex when the war happened, and then I was born after the war, whatever the case may be, the Vietnam War. Okay. So, so I left Vietnam when I was very small, but I did go back to Vietnam about 15 years ago when Vietnam joined WTO, the World Trade Organization. If you guys Google that, you guys know exactly the year that I went back to Vietnam. Okay. So at that time, of course, I was older. Okay. And then since then, I've never gone back. Okay. But I've seen a lot of folks who travel to Vietnam, food influencers, they put it on Instagram. So Vietnam is like China now. It's like, it's night and day. But back when I traveled back to Vietnam, at least 10 or 15 years ago, when they signed up with WTO, it was still kind of poor. Okay. And so the point that I'm saying is that I'm glad, I'm very, very glad that America is not Vietnam. Okay. I can guarantee you this, Jenn. So Jenn, I know you Google a lot like I do, which that means that you always wanted to learn from facts, right? So this is another fact, Jenn, which I know that you don't know because it's from Vietnam. So you might want to Google later tonight if you can't sleep or something. The latest 3 prime minister of Vietnam, I mean, just like last month, I mean, like when I say latest, it's the latest, okay? 3 consecutive prime minister of Vietnam were either fired or had to step down because of corruption, okay? Of corruption. So I just actually said that it's highly possible that America is going to have that under the Trump presidency. Everything's going to be money. Okay, you want me to approve that? How much are you going to pay me? Okay, you want me to sign that? How much are you going to pay me? And we're not going to talk about a little amount. You're talking about, Elon Musk here spending 100 million. He's going to get that back. You're going to talk about the people surrounding Trump. You're going to talk about Ivanka and Jared Kushner, who are his daughter and his son. Okay, they walk away from his first presidency, I believe, minimum $2 billion. Google that, $2 billion. Okay, so can we use the word corruption, or is there a legal terms that if Trump and Vance and Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and all these guys are with him now, are doing it? Is there a legal term to say it? I don't know, but if you're saying, nah, Jenny, it's not going to happen, no, then you're just living on a rock, because it will happen, because the man is 80 years old and he's been doing that all his life. You think he's going to change now, running the most powerful country in the world, and then having the most powerful position, and not only that, having the Supreme Court, having the Senate, if he wins the House, he has everything. So, but the thing about it, here's the thing, Jenn. Okay, so again, I wanted to calm you so that you can sleep good at nighttime, because health is key. Okay, there are still 42% of Americans, Jenn, that will make sure that America will not be a Vietnam. When I say that, I believe all of you guys in here understand what I'm saying. Okay, yes, the tides are against us meaning the Democrats. We lost. Okay, the tides are against us. Okay, but it's not 99% to 1. It's not 50-50, right? It's not even 60-40, thank God, right? It's 58-42, according to the electoral votes that I took the percentage of. So there are 330 million Americans here in America. Of course, Trump is probably going to deport a bunch of them. Okay, the same bunch that, the Hispanic Mexican voted for him. That's another thing. The Mexican people voted for him. I find that that's a little funny, which actually proved me a point, because the Puerto Ricans, 90% of the Puerto Ricans voted for Kamala. So now it proved me a point, because there was one space when I was saying that Puerto Ricans are different than Hispanics are different from Mexicans. But the tally that I saw is Mexicans voted for Trump. Puerto Ricans outshine and voted for Kamala. So of course there's different. So my point is, okay, so there's 2 things, Jenn. Okay, there are still 42% of us who are super smart, and you know that, Jenn. The Democrats are very elite, high scholar, super smart. Lawyers, they will fight to the T. So I know for a fact that I'm still safe in America, okay, because I know Vietnam. I would not want to live in Vietnam, okay? I'm a proud American, okay? There are still 42% of us going to protect us, okay? And then there's this other thing, Jenn, that I wanted to talk about faith, right? You both started out saying that you and I are both Roman Catholic. Well, I was raised as a Buddhist. My mom is still Buddhist, but I was baptized as a Roman Catholic about 5 years ago. So yes, I'm a very faithful believer kind of a person. If we're a faithful kind of a believer person, Jenn, I thought about this all night long, because I tweeted out a couple days ago. I asked God. I said, dear God, can you let Kamala win? but obviously God didn't answer me, right? I mean, I'm not asking any of you guys here. I'm just talking to myself. I spoke to God. I said, dear God, if you think that all that I've shared, which I share with you guys today, I share with you guys today within the last, I don't know, how long have I been on? Like 2 hours now? Okay. All of the things that you guys heard, I asked God publicly and privately, if this is going to happen, dear God, can you let Kamala win? But God didn't. So if God didn't, then does that mean that it's his intention? Right, Jen? Is his intention. Then if it's his intention, then that means he must have seen something that we don't see at the moment. Because I will tell you guys a true story. If you guys believe that I'm quite successful, I believe that I am. Okay, I'm quite successful from where I was raised, where I was from, raising from a single mother. Okay, thank God. You know, I'm in my 40s now, and I'm not in my 20s and 30s dating in this particular. I'm so sad to have to say that I'm thankful that I'm in my 40s and I don't think I'm gonna have kids. Okay, you know, so it just sounds so funny for me to say that, but I am thankful because we're in a time, we're in an era where it's really strange. It's very, very strange, right? So, and I feel sorry. I feel sorry for a lot of my friends who just gave birth, who either just gave birth to a daughter or they have daughters who just got married and their daughters are planning to have children. I would be freaking out right now. Okay. But thankfully, I'm not in any of that position. Okay. But back to God, right? I was going to tell you guys a story about God. And unless if anybody else has anything, Jen too as well, I'm going to do one final test and then we can just wrap it because I think we cover almost everything. Okay. And that story is, if you guys think, those who do know me, okay, that I'm successful, I do thank the Lord for blessing me. I started out being a Buddhist, so I guess you can say that Buddha blessed me, right? And then I converted to Roman Catholic about 5-6 years ago, and I still do well. So I can say Jesus Christ or Son of God bless me, right? So that's why I believe in faith. So am I sad, pissed off, scared? Jen, the answer is obviously yes. Probably not as scared as you because I kind of learned about Vietnam and I know I'm much better here in America than Vietnam. And I know we're not going to be another Vietnam. Okay. So if that makes you feel a little bit better that, okay, my friend Jenny said we're not going to be another Vietnam because Vietnam is really bad. Trust me on that. But at the end of the day, unless you want to share now, Jen, or you can share in private because we're talking about faith. Why? God, it's God, right? God chose that. I mean, even if the left were to say the right cheated, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all of them cheated somehow. They somehow cheated. I've seen some tweets that some voting machine doesn't work or whatever the case may be. They're going to say that just the same way as Trump say Biden cheated 4 years ago. Everybody's going to say they cheat because that's one way for you to stop the, you know, the lose face, right? The word is lose face, right? To blame the other side that they cheated until things die down a little bit, right? But at the end of the day, they won by a far margin. It's not even as close as Biden that Donald Trump can say, hey, they fucking cheat. But Donald Trump won all of the swing states, all of them. He won all of the swing states. Kamala did not even win one, zero, zilch. Okay? So even if we were to proclaim this machine, that machine, they cheated, I'm not going to retweet any of those. I read it and I'm just going to let it pass. Okay? I know we're hurt. But at the end of the day, the answer for me and me only is that God wanted this. And if God wanted this, why God? I don't see it yet. I don't have an answer yet. All I see is what we've been talking about today. How is bad for women? How is this and that? And I'm going to put up the final tweet that I tweeted this morning about crypto, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'll do the task and then we can wrap it up. Is that, maybe because God doesn't want us to have any abortions anymore? Because Jen, you mentioned about, how Catholic, there's no abortion. I get that. But then that tweet from that guy, it's like men now control women's body. They can rape you. And then even if you're not married to them, you want to abort that kid, you can't. Before Trump won, there were talks that, well, you can always move to another state. But now you can't anymore because it could even be a federal ban, right? Now, are they going to even go to the extent that you can't even fly to another country? That Jen, you were mentioned about that. We can fly to another country. So what happens if they say, well, you can't even fly? Then that's communism. That's Putin. That's Russia. That's Xi Jinping of China. And that is also Vietnam. So America is going to be a communist country because then people have no more rights to do anything about their own bodies, especially women. Even if we are wealthy and we can say, fine, if America has that rule, I would just go to Singapore. I'll go to Vietnam. I'll go to the other, higher risk because you got to get insurance for it or you got to pay cash for it. But for the sake that you got raped or your daughter just got raped and you don't want this child, what are you going to do? Right? But God wanted that, Jen. God gave them the throne. God, accept it or not. That's I've been telling myself this since 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how many friends I talked to. Okay, you can't not answer God. This is a godsend. So could it be that on the Trump side said that Trump is the son of God? Trump is God selected. From my point of view, it looks like it. From my point of view, it looks like it. Okay, so let me end with this particular tweet that I tweeted out really early in the morning, and it talked about okay, so this one here, I'm gonna put in a jumbotron, and then we're gonna conclude. We're gonna do one.
Jenny, are you going to move on from
religion? Yes, I'm gonna move on from religion.
Okay, I was raised okay. Catholic. I am not Catholic.
Oh, okay,
anymore.
Raised Catholic.
I still do, but I do. There's some things I believe in, some things I don't. So I am not against abortion for many reasons. Not there are some that I have a hard time with, but not most of them. I'm not against birth control, so I want to make sure that that's clear. I'm just was saying the Catholic tenets that I was very that were kind of drilled into my head growing up. But if we want to put some of the Bible stuff in here, I think he's actually the Antichrist, and this is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse coming. And if God's trying to do anything, he's just trying to show us who the good guys and the bad guys are, and then we're gonna have the second coming. I've never thought that was gonna happen. I've never, but I don't think it's because he's the son of God or he's a good one. I think he's to show people who everybody really is. If anything, I really don't think if God was the loving God that I was raised with, this would be happening. But he gave us free will. There's also the Old Testament. There's a vengeful God. But if there's anything I could maybe sort of buy into, it would be for us to all see who people really are. Because honestly, a lot of people have come out from hiding. There used to be a lot of people who you thought were really good people or were for pro humanity. And what's the last 9 years has shown us is how many people would shoot their neighbor if they didn't have to go to jail for it. And that is terrifying to me. But maybe it's better that we know. I don't know how to handle that yet, but maybe that's what we need to know. Maybe we need to see what we really are dealing with. I don't know. I do see this as sort of happening in some other countries too. It's not just America, but I feel like Trump kind of kicked it off 9 years ago. And there's a few other countries in Europe too that are kind of grappling with this. But I think if people you need to work for the next Democratic campaign. I know if you're going to want to, but something you said would have changed everything. If people connected these behaviors with communism, because in Texas, as the law was made, now I'm not sure if they changed this or not, because I know there's a lot going on with the different abortion amendments, but at one point it was the case that you could not leave the state. And if you aided somebody in leaving the state of Texas, you would also be held in jail. And if you were a doctor who performed an abortion in Texas, this is true right now, it's 90-year sentence. But if you rape somebody in Texas, it's 9 months. So it's there's, but the movement piece, not being able to go out of state for abortion did at least for some point exist in Texas. I'm trying to fact check that so I can see if it's still the case or not, or if they squashed that down. Because I know there's a lot of judges getting involved and saying certain things were unconstitutional and such. But I think if the Kamala campaign had connected some of these behaviors with communism, it would have been people would have been wait, no, right? Because so many Republicans would be all right, they hate that word. Right. With it.
But it is. You see how I just explained? It's exactly.
Yeah, no, I did. You just just a bell went off.
It's going to be exactly like communism. So, but yeah, okay. So we going to put a closure in this next subject topics, which I think it's also good to Jen. As you were talking, I'm scrolling around Twitter, and guess what I'm seeing? Okay, so what I'm seeing is already, as you know, Leticia. You live in the East Coast, so I know Leticia James, right? She's the New York Attorney General, Leticia James. Trump hates Leticia, so.
Yeah, she's been very active today.
So Leticia James just came out, which is the New York Attorney General, which is she's very powerful in New York. Leticia James says she did not expect Trump to win. Like I said, this is 2016 all over again. Because I remember the morning of the 2016, which is today of the 2024, I was shocked that Hillary Clinton lost. And I did again today. Again, it's a deja vu of 2016. Okay? So the thing about it is, I know the Democrat side, they're shocked right now. And everybody's looking for Kamala the same way that everybody was looking for Hillary Clinton afterwards, and she was in the forest for 3 months. So this is what Leticia James said. She said, "We will not compromise our values or our integrity or our principles. My office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before." And she said, "The law will fight back." Okay, so she is prepared to use the law to fight back. This is the point, Jen, that I was saying, that you can still sleep okay at nighttime, and we just wake up every day, be normal, and go with the flow, because we still have 42% of Americans like Leticia James, that they're not going to allow the other 58% to cripple American or turn America into a communism. Okay, so and then of course, through the Leticia James tweets, I do see the right tweeting, and this is the right tweeting. I'm worried about Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, Fannie Willis, and 2 judges, Judge Chukun and Judge Merchant, and Leticia James. So I don't know who the 2 judges are, but I'm assuming those two judges were the judges that found Donald Trump guilty of some of the felons that he did. But of course, now he's the president. He's going to pardon himself. We all know that, right? All of those felons that you guys see that I tweeted on my timeline that Vanity Fair put on the cover, he's going to pardon himself. Of course, he's going to pardon himself, but at the end of the day, it's like a tattoo. You know, those felons, those marks, it's going to be forever with Donald Trump in the history book, even if he pardoned himself. Okay, so the next few days or the next 4 years, Jen, every day we're going to wake up, we're going to see the 42% and the 58% are going to fight. Okay, and I'm glad that I'm on, even though the 42%, but I know the 42% are highly intellectual people, just like Leticia James, not like the people in Vietnam and stuff like that. So I'm not worried. That's why I'm saying, you know what? I love America and I love being an American. So here's the final thing, and then sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we kind of held you off, but I want to touch base on this before I do the task, and then we all can drop off. So this particular tweet, I put it in the jumbotron. Okay, it says right there that right now, I believe it's best to, if you have some cash, to keep some cash in reserve. Actually, Jen, you said that, right? Put some cash in the mattresses or something like that, right? Definitely do that. Because why? The next thing I said is that the stock market, the SOX is the semiconductor index, okay? And stocks like NVIDIA, it's going to come down because you already see it. You know, I put in the tweet too that Elon Musk already said that he thinks that the economy is going to be really bad, even if Trump wins. So I'm going to put this tweet in the jumbotron. Okay, so you guys just look at the 4 images that I added. So Elon Musk already said he predicts hardship, economic turmoil, and a stock market crash if Trump wins. Now, if you guys don't understand that, let me quickly explain that. Why does Elon Musk want a stock market crash? It's very simple. They are wealthy billionaires, and and Elon Musk wants to be the first trillionaire. So what do we learn in cryptocurrency? Buy low, sell high, correct? Buy low, sell high, correct? Where do you think the stock market and cryptocurrencies are right now? Don't talk about Tether ball. Our Tether ball is still low, okay? So our Tether ball is just going to stay there, okay? But I don't know about cryptocurrency because I think cryptocurrencies are different. Now I'm going to talk about that. But the stock market has been going up 40% this year, which is one of the highest ever. And that's why I'm not in stock, except I still hold one short position of NVIDIA, and I still have it, okay? So, so that's what I believe, and that's why you guys see in the tweet that I believe stock market, semiconductor stock, and NVIDIA are going to come down. So I'm still going to hold non-investment advice. People, don't follow me. Okay, just don't follow me. Okay, and then the next thing is you guys saw the emoji of the graph going up. So I believe cryptocurrency, memes, alts, and Solana is going to go up because why? Let me explain again to you why. If Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Trump are betting for the stock market to go down, because keep in mind, Elon Musk only has like what, $1 billion in Bitcoin, but he has what, 300 billions in Tesla? You guys get my point? Which side of his money is more? The stock market, right? So he wants the stock market to come down so he can buy more, or he can acquire more cheap companies. You know how in the capitalist world, a big company just gobble up a small company because that small company may have an AI that they like. I mean, look at Elon. He never invented anything. The Tesla was not his invention. Somebody else invented it and he acquired it. The same as SpaceX, the same as all of his companies. If you guys do the research, you guys will see that I'm right, okay? He acquired all his company. He didn't invent anything, okay? So he may want to push everything down so he can acquire it. So I think the next thing that Elon is in is AI. So he recently bought a lot of NVIDIA's chips, and then that's another story, okay? So let me go back to this thing. Why do I think stocks go down, crypto goes up? Common sense, people. Think about it. If you have $300 billion and you know that you're going to push the stock market down, right? It's going to take between 3 to 6 months for you to do some kind of drastic thing in the economy, and then the stock market's going to crash for some sort. You want to balance your money, your $300,000, okay, or $300 billion with a different assets, either real estate or crypto. So they're going to bring one asset class at a time down, and then up, and then down, and then up. You guys get my point, okay? So if they're going to bring the stock market down, they're going to keep cryptocurrency up because you can't have everything down, okay? So that's why I put cryptocurrency as up, okay? Real estate might be because Donald Trump is going to lower interest rate. This space is recorded, and I'm going to take a copy of it. I'm going to put it on my YouTube, okay? So Donald Trump is a real estate man, and he's going to die a real estate man. So how does he benefit with real estate? Real interest rate now is nearly at an all-time high, right? 6 or 7%, right? If you guys buy homes, you guys should know that, right? So he's going to push real interest rate all the way down again when he was in the term like 0, 1, 2% or whatever the case may be. So when interest rate goes down like that, then it benefits him to buy more properties. People's going to buy more real estate. And then when people buy more real estate, guess what? His real estate's going to go up. Okay, common sense. Okay, so we only have a few sectors: stock market, real estate, and crypto. So if real estate's going to come down, then you can probably common sense tell you that they're going to keep crypto and real estate up until the stock market is down enough already that they all got in. Because by that time, guess what, you guys, all of us, we're going to buy wrong and sell wrong. Well, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about most of you guys out there. Okay, you guys going to be buying stocks right now. I mean, look at the stock market. What makes you think the stock market is up today? Because people are buying. So do you think it's going to go up more? Well, if you think so, good luck to you. But if I had any, I would be selling. This is not investment advice because this is a bull trap. Okay, this is recorded for a reason, and I'm going to put it on my YouTube. Okay, this is a bull trap. So as the little people are buying the stocks today. That's why you saw it's going up. Wall Street, wealthy. Look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is on cash, the highest amount of cash ever in the history of Berkshire Hathaway. Do you guys think Warren Buffett is stupid? Do you guys think he's stupid? Okay, so you see, follow the money. Follow the money. Don't follow when the market is up or down because then you are stupid. You're stupid. Don't be stupid. Okay, like the stock market's up today. I bet you 9 out of 10 little people say, "Oh my God, Trump won. Let's go and buy stock. Everything's gonna go up more." I sit back and I laugh my ass off. Okay, again, I'm speaking very cautiously and care to my people of the TBALL. Okay, because I'm telling you guys exactly what I do to my own money, but this is not investment advice. Okay, so I'm just speaking overall to teach, to coach you guys how the world works. Okay, so that's how the stock goes up. But you have what Elon said, that he's gonna crash the market. So if you are a fan of Elon, he just helped President Trump won, so he's pretty powerful, right? So who are you gonna listen to? Are you gonna listen to what Elon said, which he said he's gonna crash the market, or are you gonna chase what you saw on the stock market today? Dow Jones is up over 1,000%. Nasdaq's up over 506. Which one are you going to follow? Okay, that's your prerogative. Okay, it's not mine. Okay, I'm here to dissect it for you. Okay, so then again, I'm going to say it. Right now, the smart money, the elites, either like me or Warren Buffett, they already sold and sat on cash and they're going to wait. Okay, did you guys see my tweet? I tweeted this like 3 or 4 months ago when I would say something shit, it's going to happen. I tweeted on the day that P. Diddy was locked up. Okay, So then, if they're going to push the stock market down, they're selling now, and then when it goes all the way down, I don't know how much down, if you guys follow me, I'm going to follow this very closely, then that's when they're going to buy in. When they're all done buying in at the low, listen to me, people, at the low, then that's when you're going to see, potentially, a sell-off either in real estate or crypto, and it's called a cycle, okay? So that's when they're done buying stocks, they all load up in stock, okay? Then they're going to find ways to push up the stock market, just like we saw the stock market within the last year or 4 years that Biden has been the president. And if you missed it, I did share beginning of it, why I believe the stock market is up and why all the eggs in the grocery is so high, because maybe Biden wants that, okay? And then they're going to push the stock up because why? Buy low, sell high. And then that's when crypto might crash, okay? I don't know when that is. Crypto might crash, real estate might, and that's how they're going to play within the next 4 years. So, back to the tweet that I shared with you guys. Okay. So let me read again. Okay. So it's stay on cash. If you have some cash, keep them on the side. Stock market, semiconductor, AI stocks going to come down because the wealthy, the elites want those to come down so they can buy in. Cryptocurrency will go up, or stay up or go sideline. Okay. Then my emoji with the down arrow graph. Women, we just talk about that. Women and girls are horrible. I am just like panicking for women and girls and those who's gonna have daughters now. Okay, interest rate, as I share, as I had just shared, it's currently high because of Trump. They're gonna push it down. Okay, they will fire Gary Gensler. I think he's bad anyway. Okay, they will fire Gary Gensler so they can control the SEC, and then from the SEC they can control the crypto space. If they can control the crypto space, then that's when they're gonna say, okay, you want me to sign this, approve this for you? How much are you gonna put in the pot? How much Tether? How much Brian Armstrong? That's going to happen, okay? And then Ukraine war, okay? Trump is going to stop the Ukraine war somehow, and he's going to hand Ukraine to Putin on a platter, okay? These are all my forecasts. Am I going to be right? Possibly. Could I be wrong? Possibly, okay? And then at the end, which you guys saw, the two stocks that I knew it would fly today is Donald J. Trump stock, which is DJT, and Tesla. So Tesla is up 37 points today. Okay, so maybe Elon already made back the $100 million that he gave Trump. You see, this is how elitism works. This is how the wealthy works. Okay. And I'm not even going into the part that they all talk to each other how to hide from taxes. Because Trump doesn't pay taxes. Elon doesn't pay taxes. None of these people do. We do. The middle class do. The poor class do. Okay. We do. Okay. If Kamala won, she was going to do some kind of thing to make the rich pay for taxes and help us lower our taxes. But she got fucked up. God didn't want her to win. Okay. So I'm going to end there. So here is the final task. Peg and Amy, sorry, thank you for coming in. We've been having this space now for, I think, almost 2.5, 3 hours. So we share enough stuff. Giant, thank you. Thank you, everyone in the community for being in here. So same thing. The third and final task is same point. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you guys 300 points. Okay, since you guys stay to the end. Just type in the bubble. Okay. Make sure you follow the rules. Okay. What did Jenny share within the last 30 minutes? Okay. Type in the bubble. So there were 3 tasks. 200, a 200, a 200, and then the last one is a 300. So a total of 700 points. So again, let me repeat. The third task is type in the bubble, and as soon as this space ends, you have 30 minutes from the ending of the space to type in the bubble. Okay, because just in case other people are going to cheat and they're still going to type in like 5 hours from now. Okay, type something that I share within the last 30 minutes. Okay, so I think we share a lot, and this space is recorded. And I'm going to put the space on my YouTube. And then we're going to see if what I've shared today is going to be right, wrong, or whatever the case may be within the next 4 years. If anybody has any question to anything that Jen or I share, please raise your hand before it holds your peace.
Like everything you've been saying too, as you go. If I couldn't when I was driving earlier, but since then, just to back up what you're saying, the last time an entire presidency, like the whole 4 years, had all of the branches of power was when the Great Depression happened. So those links are in there too, just FYI.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah. So that anyway, I think so. I think something is gonna happen. So but those of you guys in here are thinking about TBALL, and it was funny. There was one member. Here's a quick story. You guys are still in here with me. There was one member of our TBALL family, right? And he pisses me off so bad. So you guys know how monthly we airdrop the TBALL to you guys, right? And you guys know how on Sunday I barely dropped to you guys in our private group the Google sheet for you guys to double check to make sure all your wallets in there, and then because the work was done, you guys all know how much points you guys are getting, right? So that's proven that our interns are doing the work, right? So it's done. And then so we double check your stuff, and we're gonna airdrop you this coming weekend because of all the election, right? Nobody complained because how long have we been doing this now? At least 3 or 4 months. Have we ever been late? Have we ever cheated anyone? Nothing, right? So this dude, okay, he's part of the community. DM me and said, Jenny, can you airdrop me my TBALL? At first I thought, well, what the fuck? So then I forwarded him that 2 posts that I put in the main room. I said, didn't you see this? We did the calculation. And didn't you see this post? We said to double check your wallet, and we're going to wallet you this weekend. We're not going to be rushed by anybody. And why are you rushing? And then he was quiet, and he apologized. He said, oh, I'm just so sorry. So then I kind of put two and two together. And you guys know what I put together? I think that he wanted me to airdrop him this last batch so he can dump all of the TBALL, and then he's going to jump in and FOMO in the other crypto that's flying right now, just like the stock market. It's not much, Jen. You guys don't need to worry. It's not much. It's like, I think maximum maybe 3,000 or 4,000 TBALL, and of course, you guys know that's not much, right? But that's the type of people we have to deal with. What did I just say about the stock market being so high? You get what I'm saying? So they're going to scrap every penny. So if that's the case, I'm going to kick that bastard out of our, of our group, because that's just like devious, right? So of course I yell at him. I say, why are you in such a rush? The only time when you're in such a rush is because you're getting ready to dump. And I'm going to say again, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't have a lot. I would say even if we credit him this maximum maybe 4 or 5,000 TBALL. So it's not going to hurt TBALL. So at the end of the day, okay, TBALL, we're going to have a lot of stuff we're going to roll out now that the election is behind us. Jen, Zach, and I are working on something. I'm also working on with Quanning and other people, other folks on some other stuff too as well. I'm not in TBALL to, I'm a fighter. You guys know that, right? TBALL is my baby. It's our baby. Okay. A lot of you guys in here, etc. Right. So, I'm not the type of person that will, leave my community because, I have a name at stake to protect, and especially it's not as if I need money that I need to rub people. What I truly love, if you guys have not heard this from me yet, okay, is that all of us can somehow become millionaires together with TBALL. That's my ultimate want. Can we do that? Of course we can. We need to talk. We need to discuss when we, when we sell our TBALL, which eventually we will, okay? Because how can you become millionaires if you don't sell, right? That includes me and that includes the three founders, okay? But if we discuss well enough, then it's possible because it has worked with the stock market side. As you guys know, everybody, when they sell their stock, like Tim Cook, Mark Zuckerberg, they have to file it that I'm going to sell this much. I'm going to sell this much. And, and even if we all know about it, they're not crashing their stock. Okay. The only time a rug pull happens is only one selfish person, one selfish person. I can't speak anymore because my mouth is so dry. Take an entire supply, dump it on the market, and took the bag home. You guys know me well enough that I will never be that person, nor any of the ladies. Now, even if you don't trust me, I would say this next. Even if I don't care about any of you guys, the only person I'm afraid is God. And I do not want God to go after me. God or Buddha. Well, my mom is still Buddhism. Did you guys hear it from my voice? Did you guys hear it from me? That's me. Okay? So I am thinking, planning. I've been thinking about over and over again, how I'm going to coach you guys, if, and maybe that's why I don't want TBALL to go up yet. Did you guys know that I could tell you right now how I can easily send TBALL to at least, let me say a dime. You guys want to know how I do it? I take my money and buy it. I have plenty of money. Okay. If I take $5,000, I buy TBALL in the open market. I think TBALL is going to go up to, it's going to lose a zero. It's going to go up to like, maybe a point, even a 0.1. Okay. So that's 10 cents. I could put in $10,000. It could go even higher. I could even put in $100,000. $100,000 is meaningless to me. I could buy $100,000 of TBALL in the open market. And if I do the math correctly, TBALL could even be at 50 cents because of the low supply that it has in the market right now. This is the first time I'm sharing the facts with you. But do you know why I did not do that? Because it benefits no one. Because if I do that, then the first thing the community is going to do is you guys going to celebrate. Oh my gosh, shit, TBALL is 50 cents. TBALL is 25 cents. You guys going to go and obviously dump it, which is fine. You guys going to dump it on my money. But at least I'm going to prove that, hey, look, TBALL is up. But I'm not going to fool you guys for that, because if I need to fool you guys for that, you guys know I have a lot of wealthy friends. And I can ask my wealthy friends to do it. Hey, go buy me $5,000. Go buy me $25,000. Go buy me, whatever. They're my friends. They can do it. But what would that do? What would that do? Nothing. Then you guys going to dump. Then you guys are all going to go away. And then leave the ones who did not dump. There's going to be a few that would not that could not dump in time. Okay. Then TBALL's going to come back down. Okay. And then let's just say Peg was the one who was going on vacation. And then when she came back, she said, oh my God, Jenny, I heard TBALL was up at $1, but I was on vacation. But now it's back at 10 cents. I didn't have a chance to sell. And then she cries, right? And then let's just say Sean was able to dump. Everybody else able to dump, took their bag, gone away. And then there's going to be Peg. There's could be Amy or whatever. They couldn't dump because there was somewhere else they couldn't sell. And then they cry. And then what else? TBALL is going to be no different than any other meme coin out there. So I don't want to do that. I don't. So what I want currently, if you guys don't know yet, is I'm building a force to add more utilities and use cases. So when I'm done with that, okay, that TBALL has a lot of utilities, a lot of use cases that I believe TBALL is stabilized, and that includes, if you guys want TBALL to go up, you need to do a helping hand, okay? Because now under Trump, it seems like crypto, anything goes now, right? You got to help the community tweet. You don't wait for me to say, okay, go tweet, go make a comment, you get 100 points, because you know what? I'm testing that right now. And if the community sees that any community members only take action whenever you're getting bonus points, we still gonna remove you. Because you are not worthy to be a part of this community. Jenn works too hard. I work too hard. Giant, Amy, they all hosting spaces for us. They too work too hard, okay? For us to have community members who are just grifters. And I'm not calling anybody out as grifters right now. What makes you guys think that I'm offering tasks? I'm telling you guys right now, I'm testing you. Okay? So this is an open space, and I'm sharing it. So yes, one day, it could be next month. I don't know what that one day is. All you guys got to do is understand is I back this project. I love this project. This project is tied to my name. Just like everything is tied to Elon's name. Everything is tied to Trump's name. I don't want it to fail. Nor do I want it to be a rug pull. What I ultimately want is for TBALL to go up strong enough that each of us can sell a bit at a time, and you will become millionaires. There's no guarantees, okay? And we can all celebrate together without crashing TBALL. That's it. I'm going to end right there. Thank you very much, Jenn, for always being there with me. Amy, I know you're on the different side of the political arena. Jenn and I, and Peg, we wanted to congratulate you, Amy. I know you're on the pro-Trump side. And anyone else who are pro-Trump, I wanted to give Jenn, Peg, Sean, I believe at the end you were pro Kamala. Myself, Giant, a virtual hug, because I know we're on the losing team right now. And let's comfort those who also need us too as well. Amy, I know you came up at the end here. I'm just gonna go ahead and admit you in so you could share just a bit. But if you can let me go in about 5 minutes because I'm super tired. But go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, I had to come up to make sure that everybody knows that I am not pro Trump. I honestly I'm not pro either side. I had problems with both sides. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't vote for Trump. I'm not pro Trump, but yeah, this is what happened, and you know what, Jenn, it's you know what, I'm on your side. It's gonna take a lot. It's going to take a lot from all of us, but we have to come together. What Jenn was saying is right. This is the worst time for us to be divided, among each other, and to be fighting about what the outcome was. We have to come together and, and rebuild all of this together. It's going to make a difference moving forward, and I love you, Jenny, and I'm going to go on mute because you guys have been going for a long time. I just want to make sure everybody knows, on record space, I'm not pro Trump, all right, guys? I blocked him, all right? I blocked Elon too. They're both blocked, all right? I don't really want to have to live in a world with either of them. But I think that I'm going to talk more tomorrow because we're going to have that space tomorrow morning.
Yes, we will have that. Let's talk more tomorrow. So once again, the TBALL community, you guys know I love you guys. Those who are loyal to the look. Let's talk about Trump one final time. Everybody who is around Trump and Elon Musk, the first thing that Trump and Elon Musk asked for? Loyalty. Everybody asked for loyalty. So I am not out of line to ask the TBALL community to be loyal to our community. You don't have to be loyal to me, okay? I didn't ask you to be loyal to me by myself, okay? I asked you to be loyal to your own community, which is TBALL, okay? So if we are loyal to each other, And if we discuss, we communicate, we grow together, we die together, I guess, you know? So, but what I'm going to do as one of the leaders, which Amy helps us with spaces, and Peg, she helps us whenever she could, okay, is that we're going to build TBALL with utilities and use cases. And you guys are going to see. And that's what we promise we're going to do, because we don't want TBALL to just be any other cryptocurrency. And then from there, the community will see it. I hope you will support the TBALL, which is what you have, not temporary, earn TBALL, so you can have 3,000 or 5,000 TBALL and then you can dump it, which is stupidity. Okay, but that's all I wanted to share. All right. So everybody here who is in the TBALL community, thank you very much for being in here. Continue being support TBALL, and we will see you tomorrow morning in Amy's space. Thank you so much, and thank you again, Giant, and everybody in the TBALL community, especially Jen. Thank you for coming up with me, Peg, and Amy. Take care, you guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye bye.